Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg, and welcome to Beadshop Live on Wednesday. This is a pre-recorded show, my friends, so it may look like I'm live, but I'm not. You can see the ticker down below me says this broadcast is pre-recorded. So I miss you all, but I can guarantee, even though I'm not there yet, I'm having a great time sewing. But let me share with you, you saw this morning, we had a drop of this Placer mix. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, about where the name came from, a little bit about the mix, and then I'm going to show you the project that I made. It's super fast, super easy, and this video is going to be super fast and super easy as well. There's a full listing of what I used on the website, but let me show you what I've got here. So let me add this in. So this mix, I'm going to also take this crawl off the bottom. So bear with me here just a second. But do know that I'm sorry I'm not here live. So if I see questions, hopefully they'll get answered in the chat. And I hope you have fun with it. So, or with this mix. So this is called Placer. And I thought, you know, I wanted to make you folks something while I was away. And so I took inspiration from where I'm staying. I'm up in Auburn, California, which is about 3 hours up the road from Fresno here. It's in Placer County, and Placer County is in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. So I was looking for inspiration, and I was Googling like pictures of Placer County. And what I found was this. Isn't that gorgeous? So I don't know where in Placer it is, if it even is Placer County. I'm assuming it is. It said it was, but who knows? But it feels like the mountains to me. It definitely has the colors of the foothills and the Sierra Nevada. So I used that photo. And so let me show you. So the mix that I pulled from that inspiration photo is this right here. And you can see it's, so I made it, it's all 6/0 for you here. Okay. And let me put it, I've got some white, or at least I've got some off-white here. Maybe that'll be okay. Hang on. There was a little tiny spider on there. She doesn't want to be on the show. This is all 6/0, and it's all mix exclusive. If you like these colors, we might add them into stock. But for now, I was like, I don't care if we carry it or not. I am going to put it in the mix. So it has 6 different colors. Let me zoom in on this. And of course, as usual with my special mixes, it is a limited edition. It launched at midnight this morning. If you want it, grab it. So as I said, I'm trying to move this over here. There we go. It's all 6/0 Miyuki rounds, okay, in the regular 22-gram tube. Let me pull out the colors, and then I'll tell you. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, but I'll show you anyway. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there are 2 purples, 2 blues, and 2 greens. Okay, if you can see that there. Now, what I have, let me pull up the page so I can tell you. This one right here, this is transparent amethyst in the purple, and this is opaque eggplant luster, also in the purple. And the recipe is on the mix page. And again, if you like them, let us know. Shoot us an email, because we can probably add I thought they were nice, fresh colors too. So I wouldn't mind seeing these in the different sizes as well. Now in the blue, I've got Sparkle Sky Blue Lined Crystal AB. And if you remember, it's kind of hard to see, but if you remember that little specialty mix or that little specialty tube that I did during Frida Fiesta time, that was a darker, like sapphire color. This is kind of its cousin in that lighter blue color. So those are the two blues right there. What did I say? Sparkle Sky Blue Line Crystal AB and Montana Blue Gold Luster. And then the greens, they're the same color, but one is opaque, one is transparent. So I've got transparent golden olive luster and opaque golden olive luster. And that's what those are there. So we've got 6 beads in, okay? And I thought, you know what? I don't want to mix anything else in this wrap. Let me put these back in this tube here real quick. Let me make sure that I don't. Do you like that kind of tube opening noise? That was good. Let me put these back in though. Sometimes they're easier in my hand, just so they don't go all over. And so you get an accurate description of the amount that I used, because I'll show you for the wrap. And as I say, the ingredients of what I used are on the website. Essentially what I used was our hammered button in silver. I like that silver button a lot. I used 1.5 millimeter distressed violet leather. I think I've got them all, or most of them anyway, for the outer part of the wrap. And what I did this time for the textile portion of the wrap is I laddered with Irish wax linen. Okay, and that's here. So here's the button, the hammered silver button, the distressed violet. I think 3 yards of this distressed violet will be plenty. 1 package of the plum Irish wax linen. And then this is the whole, let me zoom out a little bit. This is the whole tube that I've got for you. And you can see I have plenty of, zoom in just a little bit more. I've got plenty of beads. I did 4 across with traditional laddering. I'll show you that in a second. I did 4 beads across here, and then I just kind of wrapped until, you know, I did it until I was done. I didn't want it to line up particularly perfectly, so I stopped. The stopping point was decided when I ran out of thread to ladder. So I'm like, okay, perfect. I'll stop it here, and then I'll do 2 beads, 2 bead rows. Okay. So, and then this is what I've got left. So I'm almost done. I might need like 2 more rows because I want to show you how I close this up. So let's start with the measurements first, right? So my wrist is about 6.5 inches. So what I like for my wrap, especially with this 2 wrap, I want it to come in at about 14-ish, maybe 14 1/4. So I have just enough to finish it here. I actually may take out 1 row, to be honest with you. I'm going to wrap it also around my wrist to double check, because this is pretty wide here. So when your wrap has a little more width to it, it takes up a little more space. So let's take a look. Okay, let me wrap it. So I'm going to come around, and what I've got here, you can see I don't like my wraps to sit particularly tightly either. This looks like about the right fit for me. So I was about right. I'm actually going to back up about, I think maybe 3 beads. Okay, 3 here, because I want enough to macrame, enough to tie a larger knot, and enough to tie at this end. And I'm just realizing right now, you're going to have to forgive me. This is 2 millimeter, not 1.5, because I'm like, the knot's going to be larger. I knew this. I should have looked at my notes. The reason I did 2 millimeter leather is I'm using all 6/0 beads. Okay. And you can use 1.5. It doesn't matter at all, right? I probably wouldn't use 1 with this size bead. The ratio might not quite be right. But I like 2 millimeter leather with the 6/0 bead. Okay, so sorry about that. I'm not going to stop filming. I'm going to keep going forward. Just consult the materials list on the website. But you can use any color. I pulled out the purple for this, but you could pull out the blues and use like our aqua colors. We also have some great greens. We've got that absinthe green color would look great. You can use Ceylon to do the lettering instead of Irish wax linen. I just thought Irish wax linen gave it kind of a rugged look. And since this was kind of inspired by the mountains, I thought it was a good way to go. So that's what I did. Okay. So that's this. So let me take, I'm going to take actually 4 of these out. I got a little overexcited, I guess, when I was making this. I'm going to show you the laddering. I've done traditional laddering on here. I have not done infinity stitch. So I'm going to take out 4 and I'm going to put 1 back on. Okay. And let me walk you through this until we get to this section where I need to add more. So you can see here with the hammered silver button, I folded my leather in half, put it through the button, nice large holes to fit that 2 millimeter leather. Then I cut a length of Irish wax linen. I cut about 2 yards. Okay. I found the center and I macrameed, and I did the flat macrame knot, half hitch to the left, half hitch to the right, and we've got that on our skill builders, how to do the flat macrame, but most of you know how to do this already. I'm going to show you at the end, so you'll see it in a second. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8 half hitches to make 4 full square knots here. Then I tapered up. I put in 1 bead, went through 2, then 3, and then to my length of 4. And I just kept laddering. And I laddered until I ran out of thread. Okay, so I knew I had to add some more. So what I did here was I simply I tapered down from the 4, the 3, the 2 to the 1. I laid my 2 pieces of Irish wax linen next to my leather, cut a fresh piece of Irish wax linen, and just started to ladder over it. Once I laddered to about right here or so, and you can add glue, but I didn't because this Irish wax linen is so sticky. I cut away the tails of the old linen and kept going with the new. And then I tapered, or I enlarged here. I put 1 on, and then I went to my 2 for the row. So let me show you the length of this one. This here, from where the button lines up to the beginning of this, to the end of this taper for the beads, it's about 3/4 of an inch right there. Okay. Then this is maybe about 5/8 of an inch here of the macrame. Then from there, that's about 3.5 inches. So this total length, if this is a 2 wrap, and it is, I end at about 13 inches. Okay, because I want it to be 14 and change, just a little. Okay, so I need some room to macrame. I need some room to tie a knot because in 2mm that knot's going to be kind of bulky, and I need enough so that I've got the buttonhole. Okay, so I'm going to add one more bead here just on the laddering so you can see it. I'm going to clip it really gently with my clip, and I think I'm going to put a little piece of, I've got some felt here from the last stitch in. I don't want to break my beads, right? So I'm going to put that little piece of felt over, and I'm going to clamp. Now here on this side of my board over here, I'm going to get my other clamp, and I'm going to clamp these threads down. Okay, these leather pieces down. Okay. So now what I've done is, and I have to taper this down. So I'm going to come in. I'm actually just even going to take this out because I feel like I'm going a little long, and I want this to fit me. So I come out from this last stitch, right? Let me zoom in just a little bit so you can see that. There we go. I come out from that last stitch, and I get my beads, and I put my 2 beads on, right? And my threads have come, when I cross, they've come underneath my leather here, okay? Now it's coming from the left on top of my leather, coming from the right on top of my leather, right there. And it nestles down. Now I need to take these strands and dip them under the leather cords. Okay, so that it's ready for the next stitch. Now I'm just going to taper this down to 1. So I'll do that 1 bead instead of the 2. I like the look of this Irish wax linen, I'll tell you. I think it works for this scale of bead, and it goes really easily through that 6/0. I'll come in, I'll tighten, okay, and under. Now I'm ready to macrame. So I'm going to tighten my cords so that everything is nice and straight here, and I'm just going to start my macrame. This would be the same as I would do underneath my button up here. Okay, so I'm going to start from the left. I'm going to come with my right hand strand over the left hand strand, under the leather, and up through that loop, and slide that knot into place. I want to make sure everything is even, looks good. Now I will go from the opposite side, make my loop to the right with my strand over the thread, under the leather, and tighten. Okay, so there's my full square knot, 2 half hitches. All right, let me do a few more. I don't need this to be super long because this bracelet almost fits. And remember, you know, if I tie a knot here, I could, but I actually, thinking better about it, I don't think I will tie a knot here. I could bring all of this together and put these strands underneath and tie a knot and catch these strands there. But I think I actually want the macrame look to do that. So I'm going to try for 8. Let's see what that looks like. I think that's 4 or something close to it. Just as visually, as long as it looks good. I'm going to keep going kind of at Kate speed here, because I don't want this loop to be too big, or else that button isn't going to stay where I want to put it. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a little bit of glue right there because I'm going to finish macrameing over that glue. So I'm going to do that right there, and I'm going to come in and I'll cut away the macrame, you know, the extra strands from my macrame. So I'll come in here, macrame over that glue, Now, before I tighten this, I'm going to put my glue on the inside of that thread where that macrame is going to tighten down. Okay, I'm going to do one more just like that to repeat this gluing. I'm going to do it there, I'll do it there, I'll do it there. Okay, and I'll come in and tie that closed. And maybe add just a touch more as I come in and tighten that down. Now that glue is going to sit overnight and I'll be able to cut away my excess threads. Okay. And again, this Irish wax linen is sticky. Okay. So it is going to hold on pretty well. I'm going to get a little, like a little baggie just to, or maybe even just, whoops, that's not good. I'm going to get just a little piece of paper even to just come in. I want to kind of get the excess glue off the top so it's really in there. Okay. And I'll come in, I'm going to cut these kind of short now, and then I'll cut them a little shorter up to the piece a little bit later, but let me cut those. Okay. So now let me zoom out here and let's try this on. And I'm going to take my wrist out of the shot here for just a second, just to make sure. Yeah, perfect. So see, that's where my button is going to sit. Perfect. And I'm going to make sure, kind of eyeball and see, look, my button's going to go right there. So I'm kind of pinching there, and I'm going to come in and tie my knot. I'm going to cut away some of these excess. I've got a lot of cord here. I'm going to come through, make sure my knot is nice and flat, walk it down, make sure that I have enough room for my button to slip through like that. Tighten everything down. And I'll come in and I'll angle cut these ends. Okay. Now, let me take my arm out of the shot one more time. It's easier for me to wrap it around my wrist that way. But see, this fits just perfectly. And you can see there's my macrame that's there. And you can see on this side, things aren't really, you know, they don't really line up here. There's that piece of macrame. Here's my 2-strand. Here's my double. Here's my 4. So I think it looks pretty nice. I love the way this wrap looks. Just a simple 2 wrap. You know, really easy to stack and wear, right? Let me take this off and you can kind of see the whole thing. You know, these are going to be okay. So I'm going to just come in and flip. I'm going to hold it kind of close to my head, my eyes, so I can see that, but I want those out of the way. All right. So here we have that nice, simple 2 wrap. Sometimes a doubled over wrap, I feel, you know, it's so simple. There's not a lot of bells and whistles with this. Oh, this one twisted. Let me untwist it. So it really lets the beauty of these beads shine through, you know? The colors are nice. That's not to say that you can't get a little more thread or a little more cord, right? And you know, make a longer wrap, right? And just incorporate these beads with some of the things you might have in your stash, right? But I think this is a fun, quick project. The beads, there's no pattern here. This is just simply pebbling with this. You could do it. This is 4 across, 2 across, as you can see. You can mix it up. If you wanted to do a 3 wrap, then I would just do 2 across, maybe, so you'll have enough beads, or you could add something else to it, whatever. But this is how many beads you've got left, or that I do, out of that tube. So there it is, the Placer wrap bracelet. I hope you like it. I like it. I love, love, love this mix. And again, that is the inspiration, which I think it looks pretty good, right? I think the colors are really great with that. So that's it, kids. That's it for me for this Free Tip Friday. I hope you love the plaster mix. I'll be back with you next week. No stitch in or anything this weekend because I'm still away on my creative sewing retreat. Do remember, my friends, you can find us all over socials. Facebook at the Bead Table with our Facebook group. On Instagram, if you make anything with our products or our projects, please tag us so we can repost that. And of course, on our Pinterest pages, go over there and kind of give a shout out and repin some of the projects that you like. Also, hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. We're getting close to like 89,000. So let's push us over that 89,000 mark, because I want to hit 100,000 this year. I want to hit that. Hit us up anywhere online at beadshop.com. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot us an email at info@beadshop. I hope you've loved all of the Color Week content that I put in. Stay tuned to your newsletters. I've got 2 more kind of color surprises or color things for you on Saturday and Sunday. And I will be back, Janice and I will be back next week with Janice's 5-stitch project. So much to do, so little time to do it in, right? Okay, friends, thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend and enjoy making a placer wrap bracelet. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.